This is the Mercedes-Benz EQE 350 4MATIC, which is the electric equivalent for Mercedes' long-running E-Class range. It's large enough to fit the family and it's got its interior comfort down pat. But what about practicality? In this video, I'm going to show you what my family of three thought of it after our week with it and how it compares to its rivals, the Audi e-tron GT and the Genesis electrified G80. There are three models for the EQE, and ours is the mid-spec 350 4MATIC grade, which will cost you $144,900 before on-road costs. It manages to just slide into being the most affordable compared to its rivals. But let's take a look at what sort of features you get for that price tag. Occupants enjoy a lot of creature comforts, like a panoramic sunroof, heated and electric front seats that feature a kinetic function. Kind of think of it like gentle stretching rather than a massage function though. A premium Burmester sound system, as well as a power tailgate and electrically folding rear seats, just to name a few. The full specs are in my written review at carsguide.com.au if you want more info. The front design does set this apart from its siblings though, because the grille is a big shiny black panel that has that repeated star motif. It's a little bit too snubby nosed for me to call it sexy because of how low it dips down. But the auto flush door handles that are illuminated do add some pizzazz. Love it or leave it, the swoopy design is decidedly modern, as are the aerodynamic covers on the 20-inch alloys. I'm not a major fan of the looks, but there are some cool elements like the 3D helix lights at the back, as well as that little spoiler. The cabin looks great and the large touchscreen multimedia system certainly takes center stage, but the empty spaces around it on the dash just look a little bit too boring for me. I like that the controls double as the door handle, and I really like that the seat configurator and memory function are also housed on the door itself rather than the side of the seat. I just think it's easy to see. Mercedes uses the term saloon for their sedans, and I really feel like it just highlights how much space each passenger gets in this car. I have plenty of head and legroom in this, and I also don't feel like I'm on top of my other passengers as well. There's plenty of elbow room. I also really like that there's adjustable lumbar support and extendable underthigh support on these super comfortable front seats. You're spoiled for choice when it comes to individual storage options as well. You have a large shelf underneath the middle and center consoles, a very deep middle console, and I also really like this space here with the retractable cup holders, because when you do retract those cup holders, it becomes quite a good little cubby. Charging options are also really good with 4 USB-C ports and a wireless charging pad to choose from. The only thing I'll note though is that the wireless charging pad is a little bit fiddly to use. I found it difficult to get my phone in and out when I was also using the cup holders. The technology in this is really great, and even an average person isn't going to be flustered by it, which is fantastic. I really liked having the customizable digital instrument panel as well as the colored head-up display this week too. The satellite navigation has a cool augmented reality feature, which is just a fancy way of saying that there are dynamic directions overlaid onto a video feed. I also like that it has wireless Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto too. I'm in the back seat and I have stacks of legroom. I don't have heaps of headroom though, because the swoopy roofline and that panoramic sunroof does sort of cut into it a little bit, but I'm still very comfortable, and I'm loving how well padded these back seats are, just comfort plus. The amenities back here are good, and I like that you get map pockets, directional air vents, 2 USB-C ports, as well as reading lights. I would have preferred to have seen some additional comfort items like climate control, but otherwise it's fairly comfortable back here. I do like that you have a fold-down armrest with retractable cup holders too though. There are ISOFIX child seat mounts on the outboard seats, plus 3 top tethers. 2 seats will fit best, but if you do happen to have a middle seat passenger, they should still be fairly comfortable because the floor is quite flat. There's also plenty of room for a front passenger when a 0 to 4 rearward facing child seat is installed too. For the class, the boot isn't massive at 430 litres, but it was plenty big enough for me and my groceries and my kids' bike. You get a tyre puncture repair kit in this, as well as a power tailgate, and I really like that you can electrically fold the rear seats from the boot as well. The The 354matic is an all-wheel drive with 2 electric motors that have a combined power output of 215 kilowatts and a massive 765 newton meters worth of torque. Its 0 to 100 km/h sprint time is only 6.3 seconds, but it's bloody gutsy and you do get a tummy-sucking sensation when you have to put your foot down. This has a lithium-ion battery with a large 90.5 kilowatt-hour capacity and an official energy consumption of 17.6 kilowatt-hour. My average sat around 16.9 kilowatt-hour, so I was very happy with its consumption. And the driving range is up to 590 kilometers, so I didn't have any range anxiety this week either. This has a Type 2 CCS charging port, which can accept speeds of up to 170 kilowatts on DC, which means you can get from 10 to 80% in as little as 33 minutes. On an 11 kilowatt system, you can expect to see that time bump up to just under 10 hours. I've really enjoyed driving this. It's got plenty of power, it's easy to get in and out of, and it's super responsive. I like how this handles itself on the road. It's sure of itself and very stable no matter what you throw at it. I just kind of liked getting into it no matter what the situation was. The suspension is well cushioned and the cabin quiet, so ride comfort is definitely up there. This has 3 levels of regen braking, those being none, normal and strong. I've had it on normal for most of the week. Strong enables one pedal driving, which is very responsive, so much so that you trust it in stop-start traffic. But I didn't personally like how the brake pedal moves independently when this is on. It just kind of wigged me out. Something to note about the regen braking though, is that it can cause a bunny hop effect when you come to park and you throw it into reverse. I got used to it by the end of my week with this, but it is handy to turn it off if you're doing small corrections. That being said, this is super easy to park because of the clear 360-degree view camera and front and rear parking sensors. The EQE comes jam-packed with safety features, and it has a maximum 5-star ANCAP safety rating from testing done in 2022. It has a whopping 10 airbags, which includes a driver's knee airbag and a front center airbag. If you're after more details on the safety specs, it will be in my full review at carsguide.com.au. With the EQE, you'll enjoy a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, as well as a 10-year or up to 250,000 kilometre warranty on the battery, which is better than most. You can pre-purchase either a 3, 4 or 5-year servicing plan, and the 5-year plan costs a flat $3,555, or an average of $711 per service. This is actually quite expensive for an EV, and even the service intervals are more in line with a fuel-based car at every 12 months or 15,000 kilometers, whichever occurs first. Curiously, Mercedes-Benz also locks the bonnet, so us mere mortals can't access it. But you don't really need to, but if you do need to fill something up, like say the washer fluid, there's a handy little port on the side of the car. The Mercedes-Benz EQE 354matic is a large electric sedan that should house all of your family. The drivers out there will be very happy with the power and the driving range, but the boot is quite small, so this would suit families whose kids are out of the pram stage best. I really like the safety and just the standard features that come on this, but the ongoing costs are quite expensive, so this gets an 8 out of 10 from me. My son really liked this one too, and all the cubbies throughout, he also gives it an 8 out of 10. If you're after more details, check out the full review at carsguide.com.au, and I'll see you next week.